Hello and welcome to Jake's On First podcast, where we talk about the fantasy league that no one cares about except us. So, welcome back. This is episode, I'm not sure. I'll pull up the YouTube and see what episode we're on. But while I'm doing that, I'd like to give a formal hello to my other Jake, host Hipple.
Travel baseball sucks.
Yeah, I remember.
Gosh.
Has your team gotten any better at the deadline?
Oh, we got better.
Yeah.
Might piss some people off, but we got better.
That's good.
Roster's 13. It was 10. Now it's 13.
How's your golf game now?
Really good at the moment. I'm going through the best stretch of ball striking I've ever gone through, and I was already pretty good at ball striking. I still can't putt.
Very nice. Oh, who can? I haven't played disc golf in a while, so I probably can't putt right now either.
Yeah, it's apparently you have to practice it, and I don't practice it.
Who practices? Tryhards?
Like Oz would practice. I'm like, dude, how do you do this? This is so boring. What's the point?
Well, we've been practicing at podcasts, and we're definitely getting a lot better, as you can tell by our fantastic small talk.
We're really good.
Yeah.
That's why we're the one rated podcast.
I have an update. This is episode 15.
Really? I didn't know.
Yeah.
I guess we did a lot of like mini episodes, I guess.
Yeah, we did all the preview episodes.
Okay, those all kinds of.
Yeah. All right. So I think what we're going to do tonight is we're going to give a little season update. We'll kind of look at where everybody's at, who's overperforming, who's underperforming. We'll go through that, and then we can maybe a little playoff preview as we get closer to that. Maybe even a little trade deadline talk, because that's coming up soon. So Hipple, do you have the standings pulled up, or do you want me to go through them?
I got the standings up right now.
All right, go for it.
Give me the what do you want?
Give me the top 6, because that's who advances to playoffs anyway.
Top 6 in order overall, or you want to do the top 3 East and top 3 West?
Start order overall, because this is ultimately like if playoffs started today, this is playoff seeding.
Okay, number 1 overall, Northside Head Steels owner Adam Terranoni, 13-1 with 8,400 points scored.
Yep, that is a league leading points for
by a lot. Number 2 seed, the leader of the Western Division, same team news story, owner Alex Gaba. They are 10-4. They have scored 8,200 points. By far, these have been the top 2 teams overall. 3 seed, Olsen Meadows. They're the second place team in the East. They are 10. Owner is me. That's all you gotta know. It's me. 10-4 with 7,700 points scored. The 4 seed would be America's team, James Poor Panic. He is the 3 seed in the East. He is 8-6 with 7,300 points scored. The 4 seed, number 2 seed in the West, is the Tucson Isotopes. They are 8-6 with 7,300 points scored, but just a little bit less than Poro Paddock. And finally, the last team in the playoffs is the 3rd team in the West, all in the FAM. Owner Daniel Garrett, 7-7 record with 7,400 points scored. Easily the biggest surprise of the season. Well, I would say second biggest surprise.
Yeah, a little bit of bad luck for DG, but DG is kind of in like he's in like sell tank or sell buy purgatory mode. Like
he has no chance of winning it all, but he hasn't made the playoffs yet. So
right, so getting to the playoffs is huge for that fan base. But you know he's probably still in like not quite open window yet.
And this is a different year. We've always had a bit of a like that 5, 6, 7, 8 have always kind of been competitive, but this year there's a clear top 6 and a clear bottom 4.
Yeah, for sure. So
It's
what's
not
the
the most
biggest
competitive.
surprise in your eyes?
Stephen Quayle, Southside Steelheads, a perennial
That's
playoff team,
yeah, that's kind of
are
what I was
3, 10,
thinking.
and 1 on the year and the only person who has scored less than him has been Yaz. He is the second lowest scoring team. Very surprising.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at his roster to see like what went wrong.
He's he's only made 11 moves on the year. Usually
Yeah, but
he's
like
makes a little bit more.
wonder if his pitching is just yeah, his pitching doesn't look like it really panned out all that well beyond like Corbin Burns. That looks to be about it. And his well, Lance
Well,
Lynn's having a good year, but he was out for a while. So
he is last. Also offensively, his team has over 100 less hits than the next worst team
ooh, yeah, which is
offensively.
surprising because he's got some really good guys on offense, but I don't know how much the injury bug has affected that team this year.
Yeah, I mean he's last in singles, doubles, and he's actually fourth in home runs. So his team still has power, but RBIs he's down at the bottom. Yeah, his offense sucks. And then I'm gonna go over to pitching. Let's see, innings pitched doesn't really matter. Earned runs, he has given up the third fewest earned runs.
Hmm. Yeah, it was just a very surprising. It makes you wonder if it's kind of a reload year for him where he can kind of maybe sell off a little bit, but then, gear up for the draft next year and still have a good roster that just regresses more. I think the other kind of surprise to
Yeah,
me was Yaz's team. That's not a team we would have pegged for one of the worst records in the league.
no, you always figured he'd be about 500, especially after turning things around last year. But a big thing with him is he has 25 quality starts from his starting pitching. Next lowest is 41.
Hmm. So kind of
So his
looks like he
pitching
needs
has
some.
really let him down.
Yeah, he needs a little bit of help in his rotation. One thing I noticed is really funny, and I'm just laughing about it, is that ESPN gives that playoff percentage, and that's how we know that 4 of the teams have been mathematically eliminated. But it gives Quelo, it was 3-10-1, a 1% chance of making the playoffs, which is eliminated. He gives Yaz, who is 3-11, a 1%. And then it gives Fleck, who's also 3-11, a 0% chance. So like the algorithm decided that even though you have the same record, you're worse.
And he's in the easier division.
It's like when it's like when the Orioles playoff chances or World Series chances goes from 0.02 to 0.04 and you're like they doubled.
Hey, they're above 500. Stop talking smack about him.
um do you think I don't know that there was really much of like a surprise success as we kind of knew who the top teams would be at least battling for those top spots, but that middle of the pack with some of the rosters we were kind of like I'm not quite sure about this, and we were kind of right on
Yeah,
that.
we had Yaz and Quail as potentially good teams. Ended up being Daniel and nobody else.
Yeah,
Now
as
looking
far
at
as
moves to
go ahead. Well, actually I have a whole segment on that,
you
so
go.
we'll skip that
Okay,
for now.
okay. All right, let's skip it.
um Tell me about how you feel about how your roster is performed.
I thought my roster's been doing good. I am the only team that has given the Northside Head Steals a loss. I am their one loss. Even though he has scored a lot more than me on the year, I felt like I started off the year really strong. Went through a little um, downward spiral for a few weeks, but my offense has actually been underperforming all year, in my opinion. Because I mean, I look at my pitching. I have a lot of pitchers, so I can always play matchups if I need to. But it's the hitting because I look at my hitting and Matt Olson's been underperforming. Bregman's been underperforming. Tim Anderson's been hurt a lot. JD Martinez hasn't hit for any power. My outfield is weak. Brian Reynolds has underperformed. Austin Meadows has been hurt all year. And then, so I feel like my offense, which I thought was my strength, has actually turned into my weakness.
Yeah.
And then,
So
but
do you think any regression happens as maybe some of the better players on better teams make that playoff push?
my Boston guys, obviously, I think could do good. I don't know. Bregman's the tough one. If Bregman can turn into a good hitter again, then it makes the lineup a lot better.
Bregman
And
just
then,
like turned into a sad boy after the
yeah.
cheating scandal came out. Like the dude just
And
mopes
then
around.
having Meadows on the IL the whole year has not been nice either.
Yeah. Yeah.
But my pitching is strong.
And that's what wins championships.
Well, in this league, it is biased a little bit towards hitters because they are the real athletes. Uh-oh. Edwin Diaz just made an error.
That's fun.
First and second one out.
Let's go Yankees for this week only, right? Maybe other
Well,
weeks.
you know, they if they hit a 3-run, I think that was Judge who just hit. So there goes the chances of Judge hitting a game tying home run.
So Gaba's Mets need to lose a couple games here.
Gavas Mets need to lose. It'd also be nice if his fantasy team wasn't as good as it's been doing.
Yeah, they have been doing good. I feel like so I can kind of give the spiel on my roster. I feel like I gave Gaba a really good game like the first 2 weeks of the season. And then I think the last one was also really close. But the story of my season, I feel like, has just been my starting pitching. Like I entered the year with Cole, Scherzer, Eovaldi, Otani, and I think Kyle Gibson is my starting like rotation. And I've had Scherzer on the IL for a long time, Eovaldi on the IL for a long time. Gibson wasn't really as good as he was last year. It's just like, it's kind of been limping along, picking up some spot starters here and there. And, kind of like the real life Chicago White Sox, if I have to rely on Johnny Cueto for a good start, then like the season maybe not be going as well as we'd hoped. So, but he's been all right.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Your innings pitched is almost 100 less than the team who has the most innings pitched.
Yeah. So like, but my workhorses just haven't really been there for a full season. So hold on, I gotta let my dog out. Dog tax. So, now that my workhorses are kind of back and they're on good teams making playoff pushes, I feel like they're really gonna step up here. Which maybe not Eovaldi. I don't know what's going on with the Red Sox, but it's going to be
he might get traded to a better team,
which would be awesome. So offensively, I think I've done okay. I feel like I had a lot of, I recently made that trade of some of my outfield depth to get a second baseman who I've always struggled to get points from the second base position. But I feel like I had some good depth in the outfield, and like I'm still kind of betting on Jesse Winker to wake up at some point. But we'll see. Ahmed Rosario's having a good year, but I feel like my outfield depth has been really good and allowed me to make some good trades. And other than that, like the years that Pete Alonso and Austin Riley are having is just ridiculous. So,
can you please get rid of Joey Gallo? Oh my god.
I will at some point. I just, he's kind of been a spot start when no one else has been around. So
he's like an automatic 0.
Yeah, he's pretty bad. So yeah, that's kind of where our rosters are at. That's where the league is at. Now, Hippo, I want to get to a little bit of trade deadline talk. So as we are recording this, the trade deadline is 2 weeks from yesterday, August 8th.
The Mets just won.
Oh man, Gaba's Mets won. Sorry, Yankees fans in the chat.
There's a lot of them.
So with the trade deadline approaching, I started to think about like who should I be going out and getting, and like what should I give our listeners some insider information as to who they should be going and getting? And my thought was, who are the guys that would be pure rentals? Those guys with they're on the 5th year of their contract, they have to re-enter the draft at the end of the season. So, their value is diminished, but those draft picks from next year are basically equal to those guys. So, like, who do we got that's a pure rental? And so there are across the
A
league,
lot.
there are, I think I counted 34 players that will automatically re-enter the draft in 2023. And those are guys like Freddie Freeman and Stanton, Trey Turner, Rio Muto, Trevor Story, guys that have been kept every single year of the league because they've been superstars every single year of the league. So then I went through and I figured out who everybody plays for, and I identified 8 players that are on teams at the end of their contracts, and those teams have already been eliminated from the playoffs.
Ooh.
So these are guys that have to be traded before the deadline. Like,
Are you gonna rank them?
if what?
You gonna rank them?
I'm not going to rank them. I'll reveal them in a second. But like, if you're listening to this podcast and okay, there's only 3 teams. I'll spoil it right there. It's Quelo, Juberg, and wait, that was it.
Yes.
Or Poro. No, Poro is not eliminated. No, Yaz does not have any players on the end of their
What?
contracts. Nope. So yeah, there's a couple teams that are absent from this list. But Juberg and Quelo are the only 2 people that will lose these players and are not going to the playoffs this year. So like, they should be trading all of these guys if they can to contenders. And so on Quelo's team, he has Giancarlo Mike Stanton. He's got Matt Chapman, Mike Trout, and George Springer. George Springer has already been traded to me for a draft pick next season. So George Springer's off this list now. Sorry about it. Not sorry about it. And then Juberg has Aaron Nola, Rafael Devers, Aaron Judge, and Jose Barrios. How do you feel about those names?
All right, let's go back to Quelo. He has Chapman,
Giancarlo,
Stanton. Springer's no longer there. Well, I mean,
and
he is, but now he's on your team. And then
it's Trout, Chapman, and Stanton are his 3.
okay, so good job of getting Springer. You definitely won that trade, even though you got the high draft pick.
Yeah, but it's a pure rental. So like,
yeah, it's still, you're getting a really good player.
yeah.
Well, the Trout factor, nobody's gonna want to trade for Trout, not only because he's always hurt, but he's the curse. So
Mike Trout is, I just feel so sorry for him. He's so defeated on the field this year.
yeah, but he is a curse, so
Yeah.
nobody's gonna want that. Stan is also on the IL,
He's on the
and he's got the
IL,
world's
but
ugliest swing, although he is pretty productive when healthy. And then
what's he on the
Chapman,
IL for?
do you really
I'm looking it up
know?
right now.
I was looking.
Left Achilles tendonitis. Oh, that was today. So yeah, he might be out 2 weeks. So that's a tough trade, but if somebody's got like the room on their IL to eat it for a few
Yeah.
weeks, like,
him,
it kind of makes him less valuable.
Him and Trout feel like guys that somebody like Adam will trade for and just
And then
stick
they'll
him,
just go
stash him on
off.
his IL, and then he just is like, my team's unbeatable. Now they're even more unbeatable.
Okay, so I don't know if Adam's a listener to the show. I don't know that he is. Then he needs to like.
I know he's listened to at least one episode in the past.
All right, so what's a code word that Adam has to put in the Discord to prove he heard this?
Pineapple.
Okay, pineapple. Adam, if you listen to this podcast, you have to post pineapple, a single word, in the group chat. Now, if you are not Adam listening to this, do not let Adam get Trout and Stanton. Like,
He's on a cruise right now.
yeah, this is the time. Let's some
I'm
of
looking
these.
at Adam's roster, and he has every IL spot filled. You want to
Yeah,
listen to
but
the
he could
guys in the
still.
IL spot?
Yeah, he could trade from his IL spot for a guy
Yeah.
that like
So
with more controllable
here,
years.
um, look up, go back to the list of guys who are rentals because here's guys on his IL spot right now: Chris Taylor, Ozzy Albies, Bryce Harper, Dustin May, and Max Meyer. Now May and Meyer are youngsters, but Harper I'm pretty sure is on his last year, and he's almost out for the whole year.
Harper, yeah,
Ozzy is probably
is
on his last year. Chris Taylor, he'll probably be willing to drop him.
Ozzy is not on his last year.
Okay, so Ozzy's got one more.
Ozzy's got one more keep.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
pretty sure I'm verifying.
I'm pretty sure he would drop Chris Taylor and Max Meyer and Dustin May for those two guys. His
Looking,
pitching,
where's
by the way, he's second in the league in innings pitched and way less earned runs. If you look at starting pitching, it is absurd. Oh.
did I miss one? Because Ozzy is on his last year. Never mind.
His outfield is also his weakest position. So he is actually on the prowl for outfielders. The outfield's actually very weak compared to other spots.
So yeah, so he's got a couple guys to move, but he's also got some guys on the IL who are basically like worthless if they're out for the season.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be
I
interesting.
bet you he does it. Nobody else
Yeah,
does
or
it.
at
He'll
least
do it.
tries. So
Well, when he tries, he succeeds usually.
yeah. Oh, there it is. I just missed it. Yeah. Okay. So, um, people don't let Adam get these guys. You have enough assets to make this happen.
No, let's look at you, Berg.
Okay, so Uberg is losing Aaron Nola, Rafael Devers, Aaron Judge, and Jose Barrios. Obviously, Judge is kind of the prize here.
Judge is the prize.
But
Nola has had having a really underrated year.
yeah, Nola's having a good year. Barrios is having a bad year. So I
Sucks.
don't know that anyone's
Barrios
going to
sucks.
trade for
And
Barrios.
he was never even that good. It was just somebody everybody thought was supposed to be good.
It was like someone whose peripheries were better than the results.
And it's been like that his whole career. And then this year, it's like, wait a minute, maybe he's not that good.
Which is surprising because I thought like Toronto had some like pitching coach magic stuff, but maybe he just needs another year in a new city. Who knows? But regardless, he's losing his contract at the end of the season, and he's not really having a good year. So I don't know that anyone's really going to trade for him. But all the other guys, I mean, Devers, especially
Yes.
with the possibility or almost guarantee of Devers getting sold at the deadline, like you got
And
to
he's on
jump
the
on that.
IL, so he might be a little bit cheaper.
Exactly. So
I bet you ought to
um,
trade for Aaron Judge.
I
He
think,
needs outfielders.
yeah. So yeah, I think there could be some really interesting moves here in the next 2 weeks. I know like DG is also looking for draft picks for his guys. And the guys he's losing at the end of the year is Corey Seager, Chris Bryant, and Jose Abreu. None of those guys are having like all-star years, but if you see an opportunity to upgrade, upgrade.
Well, I would definitely not trade for
Chris
wait,
Bryant.
who's the second name? Yeah, definitely not trading for Chris Bryant.
Yeah,
Jose
that's
Abreu is pretty. Jose Abreu and Seager are pretty reliable players, but I wouldn't give up a very high draft pick for them right now, especially knowing I don't have a chance of winning, and I would like those draft picks for next year too.
yeah. Corey Seager, he's actually doing okay. I'm looking at his numbers and
Oh,
his
he's a
averages
lot.
right
He had that
now.
huge power surge going into the
Yeah.
All Star break.
And honestly, as far as like averages go, Jose Abreu is the same exact like daily average.
Was it
So
280?
yeah, but I'm talking about like the fantasy point average, and
Okay. Okay.
they're both like 4.6 a night. So like they're basically equal in value. It just kind of depends on where you need an upgrade if you need an upgrade. So, those guys
Yeah,
certainly.
it's probably hard to find a. No, no, actually, there's actually a good amount of shortstops, so maybe not. Yeah, I mean, he might get some for them, but I mean, if he's selling them, then what's he telling his fan base? The 1 year we can
Exactly.
win it, we don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very bad look for the
That's
locker
a
room
tough
chemistry and the fan
sell,
base.
but
It's an impossible sell,
I mean, the owners of the Marlins do it every day.
and that's why
So,
nobody goes to their games.
right. Do you want to hear the players that you lose?
Oh, I lose a lot.
Yeah, you lose Sad Boy Alex Bregman, JD Martinez, Matt Olson, and Mookie Betts. Oh, and Xander Bogaerts. Xander Bogaerts. So you got a lot of Boston guys on this roster.
Yeah, I lose Arenado too, and Meadows, I think.
Um, unless Meadows was dropped, I don't see him on here.
I
My
never
research
dropped
isn't
him.
perfect. Oh, no, Meadows has one more year because Meadows was counted on rookie eligibility.
Yeah, okay.
So you're good for
Yeah,
him.
his value is low anyway, so I probably could have gone away with dropping him.
You can
But
still be some player through the Meadows, but
oh,
Olson's leaving,
Olson will
so
get drafted by me. Don't worry.
that
I hope he gets drafted by me.
it's fine. I have shorts. I have I think one more year of Pete Alonso,
Yeah, you do.
so that'll be good. Um, yeah. Any other thoughts on the trade deadline?
What was the what were the trades that have been done so far? It was your George Springer for a second rounder, and
And I traded for Brandon Drury
Brandon Drury and mid round pick for
for
no Brandon Drury in a
Randy.
third round for a Rosarena in a mid round, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that one it wasn't so much that you were doing a trade for Drury, but the draft pick exchange was a little confusing to me
Yeah, I mean, it was more
because
of just like
Drury
it's more of
because
a
you're trading
motivation
what's
from like,
perceived as a better player, and you're giving up a higher draft pick and perceived better player for Drury in a lower draft pick.
yeah, but it wasn't it wasn't my draft pick to begin with. So we really just swapped picks back from a previous trade.
But I no
Um,
no I refuse. What thing? What was Manfred saying? I regret the notion
uh-huh.
of that statement.
Oh, I reject the notion
I
that that's
reject the
even true
notion
or
of that
something.
statement you just made.
Okay, thanks, Manny boy. Um, yeah, I think it was more of me just trying to get the deal done. Like to add Drury is adding from like a place where my roster has been historically very thin to and just dealing from my outfield where I felt I had a lot of depth. So um
Yeah, it is what it is. It
so
won't
you know
matter. Like
what?
I said, Adam's gonna win it all.
I'm trying, man. I'm making the push.
I know you're trying, but you gotta push same two new story first.
Oh, I'm not worried about him in the playoffs. You can quote me on that. When Gaba listens to this, I'm not worried about him in the playoffs.
Well, right now you would be facing me in the playoffs.
Oh yeah. Let's look at a playoff preview. So what are the matchups?
Let me see. You might be facing Porter. Let me projected playoff. Okay. Right now, Adam would get a bye, and St. Tony's Door gets a bye. I would be facing Daniel. You would be facing Poro in the first round.
Ooh.
If things hold as is, which I feel like they should, I'll be facing Daniel, and you'll be facing Poro.
So yeah, okay. So it looks like I have to face Adam in the second round as of right now.
Yeah, and if Daniel's just gonna trade all his stars, I feel pretty good about that matchup.
Yeah. You just gotta then get past Gaba.
Which he hasn't
That's
been
a
Adam, so I'm not as worried.
that's gonna be a good matchup though. I really don't. So nothing really will change in the next couple of weeks unless like you or Gabo lost two in a row and Daniel and I win a couple games. So like nothing's really going to shuffle. This looks to be just about it. Um, so I wonder what. Let's look at the schedule on the way out. So for those
We have
those top teams that could like potentially,
we have 3 more weeks after this. So if you include this week, there's 4 more weeks to go.
yeah.
Oh wait, yeah,
Ooh,
4 more
okay.
weeks.
So I'm looking at Gaba's schedule to finish out the year. He's got really like two more tough matchups because he's got Poro in week 16, and then he's got you to finish the year in week 18.
Oof.
So it could be a little playoff preview right there.
On the flip side, I have a fairly winnable schedule outside that one. I have
Yeah,
you, Daniel, and Gaba.
I would rank myself a pretty high in strength of
Oh, you're facing
schedule.
me this week.
I got you this week. I got Adam next week. Then I have Yaz, and then I have Poro to finish the year. So I
Ooh,
can't
that's a tough
relax
one.
yet.
You can't relax.
So
Well, you're in the playoffs.
I've got the playoff spot. I'm probably
You're gonna be
not gonna
facing
get the
me or
higher
Poro.
seed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
What's
would
Daniel
love,
got? He's got Poro this week, Quelo next week. Who Quelo's still a quality enough team that you never know, unless he starts tanking. Um, he's got me, then he's got Adam. Okay, so Daniel's got a pretty tough schedule too.
yeah, looks
That
like
helps your chances of playing Poro.
Poro's schedule is okay. It's Daniel Gaba, Fleck, me, and then what is curious about Adam's schedule to go out is
Fleck.
pretty tough.
Oof.
So it seems like everybody's got at least two more tough matchups that's going into the playoffs.
I only have one.
So really the rest of this week and next week, that's the end of the trade deadline. That's going to tell people like you better make your decisions at the end of this week because there's nobody on the edge of selling. It's either you're out of the playoffs now and you sell, or you're in the playoffs and you buy, or you're in the
And the
playoffs and you
trade
sell like
deadline
Daniel.
is
It's
when?
the 8th,
Cool.
not next Monday but the next.
You would think I would know this from when I set this up.
You are the commissioner.
Dude, I have not been paying much attention because of stupid travel rule.
Don't worry about it. I don't think Rob Manfred would be able to answer that question either.
So
So,
bad.
and he gets paid to be his commissioner.
Yeah. I'm better than Mike Trout, commissioner, at least.
That's true. Did
There's
you
been
see they
no
like
physical fights.
they like parlayed that debacle into like a fan track sponsorship?
Really?
Yeah. Like Jock was tweeting some ads for fan tracks. It was really funny.
All right.
So I do want to say that with a disclaimer. We are an ESPN Fantasy League pod for some reason, even though it sucks.
It sucks.
But they do sponsor us, so we'll give them their ad time.
We'll say their name, but We will not say anything good about them.
No,
And
all
all
press is
publicity is
all
good
press is
publicity.
good press. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, all right. Well, you got anything else before we sign off?
Um, well, just looking at manager stuff, yes, just had a bad year, looks like. Coelho had a bad year. Um, but the concerning thing is Fleck is having another bad year and he's made the least amount of moves at 5. So will the managers get together and oh dang, what's a good word to use?
There's got to be
Well,
some relegation talk
yeah,
this off season. So
his
yeah, there's a couple.
incompetence.
I have some notes, a couple rule changes, so we'll shake things up. But that's something for the end of the season, which is
Yeah,
officially when.
uh, end of September.
I want to know the date. I'm looking for it right now. It would be October 5th is the day that the championship will end. So we'll address those issues in October.
It'll probably end up being more like November
Is your
because
team
I have
basically
baseball in October.
Mr. November?
Yeah,
Okay,
I think
that's
it'll
all
end up
for
being more like
now.
November.
Hipple, say bye to the 15 people that will listen to this. If that, 5 of them will be me.